What is going on, guys? This is your host of the Most Philly Jim coming at you guys with another stream. Welcome to another episode of the Read and React Show, playoff edition of the Read and React Show. Happy New Year. A lot of shit to get into in this show. Joe Shex, what's up, man?
No, man, I'm ready for Sunday. I'm ready. Playoffs, bro. I can't believe we're saying this. Playoffs. The Eagles won out. We're doing it. We won out. We won the division. You know, we're getting a little bit of a rematch against the Seahawks. I'm ready. The link is going to be alive, so let's get straight to it.
Yeah, let's get straight to it. So the Seattle Seahawks did take us down in Week 12 by a score of 17-9. Carson Wentz with 4 or 5 turnovers in that game. It just wasn't a good performance from him. It was one of probably his worst games of his entire career. But a lot has changed since then. And when I mean a lot has changed, I mean a lot has changed. Players, personnel, just the entire MO of the Philadelphia Eagles. What are your thoughts on where the Eagles were in Week 12 and where they are now?
We were just a team that just offensively couldn't get the scheme right. We're not using Carson Wentz to his strengths. Didn't have the right receivers apparently, and earlier in the season, and then all of a sudden, injuries were just a gift of what we could have. The injuries were pretty much a gift for us that brought in these young guys, these hungry guys like Deontay Burnett and J.J. Arcega-Whiteside that we drafted in the second round, and then Greg Ward, a guy that we've caught the team 2 or 3 times already and has shown up. Robert Davis, another Alshon Jeffrey possession receiver, Boston Scott in the backfield. I mean, you name it. And all these guys, we're not throwing 60, 80-yard passes down the field, but holy shit, these guys are playing for Wentz. They believe in this culture. They believe in this team. And there is no problems. There's no drama. So I'm good with it.
Right. So we got some injuries to talk about. There's a lot of dudes that were dropping like flies against the New York Giants. But Doug Peterson is pretty optimistic that we're going to get a lot of dudes back. Miles Sanders had an ankle injury. He was not at practice today, but I think he has a really good chance to play. I think what they're doing is they're just going to take it easy with Miles during the week, and they're going to see if he's good to go. And if he's good to go, he's going to play. If not, we got Boston Scott. As we know, Boston Scott carried the load, 135 yards. 3 rushing touchdowns, first Eagles running back to have that stat line since LaShawn McCoy in 2011. So that's pretty good company for Boston Scott. Jordan Howard coming back in the Eagles also made a signing this week, picking up running back Elijah Holyfield off of the Carolina Panthers practice squad. Also brought back Shelton Gibson, who was with the team, and he will be back, another receiver who might do something, even though he really didn't do much first stint. He might actually have a chance. He's got some speed. Brandon Brooks to IR. Sheldon Gibson comes back. So made a few little transactions, but nonetheless, it's going to be Carson and the kids and all these unknown names going up against Russell Wilson and Pete Carroll and the Seattle Seahawks team. So it's going to be pretty interesting.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because, I know the Seahawks have – defensively, they're not the best defensively. They're not great. It's okay, but it's not great. You know what I mean? It's not like what they used to have. No Chris Carson, no Rashard Penny in the backfield. Michael Kendricks tore his ACL at the linebacker course, so they're a little weak in the middle there on the defense. Marshawn Lynch was only averaging like 2.6 yards a carry. It wasn't crazy. They try to ease him in, you know what I mean? So he's trying to knock off some rust right now. But we're not going to get those home runs from Marshawn Lynch, which is a good thing.
Probably
like
not.
Chris Carson or Rashard Penny could do because they had a big run on us last game. But this team is just totally different going to this game. And Greg Ward said this team is hungry. He said it this morning and said this team is hungry. We're still hungry going into this game. And there's nothing that's going to stop this team. And I'm very happy that it's at the link. I'm actually very happy it's not in Seattle.
Oh, yeah.
Thank God. And this crowd needs to get behind this team. I'm going to be at this game. I can't wait to be there and witness this and hopefully come out the dub.
Great.
I can't wait.
Absolutely, man. And I totally agree with you. Having a home game in the playoffs is huge. Playoff atmosphere at Lincoln Financial Field is like none other. The fans are very rabid and crazy, and the weather is not always we don't got pretty sunshine weather up here, so it's not always the best place to come play this time of year either. But yeah, it's gonna be a good atmosphere. I have full confidence with Doug Peterson, what he has done as a coach. I still don't think Doug is the best play caller in the world. But you know what I do think is when it's time to win, this guy he's just a winner of a head coach, and he can get the guys to rally around him, and he can make shit happen. So Doug, in his preparation, I think he's going to have all these guys locked in. We're going to have a good game plan. But yeah, I mean, I'm very, very excited about this. So one thing I want to go over, something that I read yesterday about these two head coaches. You got Doug Peterson on our side, and then you got with Seattle, you got Pete Carroll. So when you play a team twice in the same season, typically it's a divisional game, but in this case, we're meeting up with a team for the second time in the playoffs. So gonna hit Pete Carroll first. Pete Carroll, his record against teams that he plays twice in a season. In the first meeting, he's 11-2-1. Second meeting, he's 4-10, and he's 0-2 in the playoffs. Doug, he is 7-6 in the first meeting. Second meeting, he's 9-4. So that is something that I have looking up to. I think Doug probably. I think not just Doug and the coaches, the players, Wentz and others. I think they learned from having a game that bad against Seattle that they're going to be ready to come out and play. And when I look at the Seahawks team, defensively, not a very good defensive team. And offensively, really been struggling for a good little while. I mean, I can't really remember the last time the Seattle Seahawks had a good outing on the offensive side of the ball. They put up 30 points against the Carolina Panthers, and we all know how the Carolina Panthers are. One of the worst teams in the league, pretty much tanking, fired Ron Rivera, who just joined the Washington Redskins as their next head coach. So, other than that game, they put up 12 against the Rams. Last week was the most points they've scored since that Panthers game. I think they scored 21 against the San Francisco 49ers. They put up 13 against the Arizona Cardinals. So their offense has been struggling to put points up on the board, and their defense is not good to begin with. So I think when you look at the Eagles, they're gonna have their chance to do whatever they want to do. And I think they can succeed throwing the ball. I think they can succeed running the football. Seattle is not good at stopping the run. They're also not good at stopping the pass. I mean, statistically, when you look at a full 16-game season, the Eagles have a better defense than the Seattle Seahawks. And when I look at the Seahawks, you mentioned how Michael Kendricks is banged up. He tore his ACL, is out for the season. I think there's a huge mismatch there if you attack the linebackers. You got Ertz. It actually is going to be, according to him, from the lips of Zach Ertz, he says he's going to fight through this, and he's going to play Sunday. So whether he makes an impact or not, catching the ball, he's going to be a decoy. What do teams do with Zach Ertz? They don't respect the wide receivers on this team. So what they do is they double team Ertz. So go ahead and double team Ertz. We'll just throw the ball out of the backfield to Boston Scott and Miles Sanders. It's a mismatch there. It's a mismatch. Don't forget Goddard. Goddard is the number one tight end in this league. He's just the only reason he's not a number one tight end is because we have Zach Ertz. So we have Zach Ertz. We have two number one tight ends. So I think that's a matchup we can totally exploit with our tight ends and our running backs. So, I mean, I'm counting on Doug Peterson and what he's been able to do the last 3 straight years going to the playoffs. First time since 2001 through 2004 that we've made the playoffs in 3 consecutive years. So, you know what? We got a winning culture here, and Doug, I believe in his ability to prepare. I think there's matchups on the field that can be totally exploited. So I'm looking forward to seeing what happens. I think we got a huge shot to win this game. And if we win this game and advance to play the San Francisco 49ers, the Eagles have been working hard with Deshaun Jackson, and Deshaun Jackson will play next week, granted we win.
Yeah, that's going to be huge. That's some good reinforcements coming back, and not even just something that's the guy's a weapon, but is an automatic cheat code to get upfield and pretty much beat entire defense. So that should be exciting. But of course, we have to get through this game. Pretty much everything you said was pretty much on point with the matchups. You know, Zach Ertz. I mean, I know that through the words of Zach Ertz, you know, he wants to play badly and wants to come right in. That's if the coaches are going to be more cautious with him and maybe not play him. I don't know what's going on with that. I mean, that's just going to be a game time decision, I guess. But I know Zach doesn't care and he just wants to go in. But even if he's not in, I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good with the other guys that we do have. So I'm not. You know, the tight end group has been very productive. Dallas Goedert's been doing absolutely amazing. And you know what? We even have. I always forget his damn name. What the other tight end?
Joshua Perkins.
Joshua Perkins. I always forget his name. Joshua Perkins is another guy. It's he's not going to go get the extra yak yards, but the guy has good hands. We talked about. He's got very reliable hands.
Yep.
And Carson Wentz can put the ball in the right spot. And the beat writers, the Eagles beat writers I had the phone call of Pete Carroll this morning. Now Pete Carroll knows what we're going to do. We're going to run the screen. We're going to pretty much challenge them, just like they're going to challenge us. You know, we're going to put Boston Scott in the backfield or whatever it is, and do a screen pass with Boston Scott. You know, Boston Scott is very small. He's behind linemen that are over 6'3", 6'4", very hard to tackle. Usually, always makes the first guy miss. As well as Miles Sanders as well. I'm not worried about Brandon Brooks being out of the game. I wish him a speedy recovery. It's unfortunate, but look for Big V at the right guard, Lane Johnson at right tackle. He'll be back. And get this run game going. And if you get this run game going, you're not gonna see like 100-yard passes down the field for touchdowns, but there's gonna be a lot of open space. We have a lot of speed. You put these running backs in a position where you can put them as wide receivers, put them out for passes as well. So depending on what's going on throughout the game, I'm happy with this matchup. This is the matchup I think me and you did want from the start. We got to go get this win. We need this. I'm just excited to see Carson Wentz in a playoff game. I'm just glad that it's here. You know what I mean? So if you really want to, just check the box off of a lot of things, and that's Carson Wentz played the 60. Plays a whole season. That's a check in the box. Another check in the box is bringing this team to the playoffs. Then another check mark is going to be going to the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? And another check mark is fourth quarter, overtime wins. So he's pretty much showed us everything that we want him to do. And you know what? We give credit to the guys on the field, right. But to be honest with you, as hard as it is to say and as hard as we want Mike Rowe gone, they've done a pretty good job, the past few weeks with this offense. And the problem is that when we had Alshon Jeffrey, Nelson Aguilar hurt, now you got these new guys, and now they have to start figuring out the strengths, weaknesses, what plays they're going to be. We can use some of these players at, and it seems like they've been using every one of these receivers to their strengths. They've been getting open, and I couldn't be more pleased with the results I've been getting these past few weeks. Winning the NFC East, even though we should have won it earlier, but we know what this team was a while ago. So. Yeah. Very happy to see this team in the playoffs and hungry and home, and I can't wait.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with pretty much everything you just said. So for me, with Wentz, it's not just about he led the team to the playoffs. It's about the way he did it. Okay, because he had his rough patches throughout the season, but some players, they shrivel up and they're done when they have those moments like that. He did not shrivel up and lay down over it or beat himself up, or he put it in the past and he was like, all right, we got a 4-game season, we got a 5-game season. Every game is pretty much a playoff game. We got a lot of injuries. I'm gonna have to play way better. And the guy's been playing out of his mind to close 2019, so I think he's still going to have a lot of haters and doubters that say shit about him no matter what, because that's just the way people are. But for me, this guy has proven what he can do on this level, and he is all the way back. And people question if he could be the same player that he was in 2017, and I think he's been a better player than he was in 17. I think some of the things he's been able to do, he's matured as far as he knows that he doesn't have to take the big plays every single play. He knows, all right, the defense is playing soft coverage. I'm going to throw the check down. I'm going to pick this defense apart. If they want to do that, that's perfectly fine. So the way he's done it since we pretty much had to win out, I can't really say much else about it. It's been very good to see.
Like look at early in the year, Carson Wentz, like we were harping, like we were like, why isn't this working? Alshon Jeffrey's in the game, or Nelson Aguilar's in the game, like these guys would be in the game. And then we're like, why isn't this working? Why is this offense working out? And you know what? It's a year-to-year basis. As a player in the NFL, if you're a receiver, it doesn't matter what position you are. If you're not playing at a high level every year, like you can't, you know what I mean? Just because I think we were so more connected to these guys like Alshon Jeffrey and Nelson Aguilar because we won a Super Bowl with both of those guys. And the favoritism of what this front office was doing with these veterans, and we were not, giving guys chances. And normally, like any other team in the NFL, you would bring young guys up and let them play. Who cares at this point? But we were like, is Carson trying too hard? But Carson was trying to throw through tight windows. His progression was bad earlier in the year because the confidence level was horrible. He didn't trust his receivers. He didn't trust what the hell this this coaching staff was doing with the scheme of this offense. Carson had to make some self adjustments as well, like holding on to the football for too long. But look at him now. As soon as he, if he knows he's not going to get a pass off, he's not going to wait any longer. He's going to go up and get those yards. We see him do QB sneaks, QB scrambles all the damn time.
He's making plays with his legs a lot more.
Moving his legs a lot more and holding two hands on the football at all times. So he's not holding it one hand, and losing the football. And he leads all quarterbacks in fumbles, unfortunately, but that's just the name of the game right now. So for Carson Wentz, my God, like he's playing at such a high level, putting the team on his back. But not even just that, but with these, I know we don't talk about the defense enough because we're so excited about this offense because of just all these new. It's like a fresh season. It's like a fresh season. It's like Robert Davis, J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, Deontay Mitchell. I mean, it's just exciting to see these guys, even if they catch one catch, two catches, whatever it is. I mean, Greg Ward is pretty much the go-to guy, because he's pretty much the most productive, which I've been very happy with. So, and then Boston Scott, a guy that was drafted in the 6th round a couple years ago, I was a walk-on in college and was never really thought of. It was just a practice squad guy, but look at him now. I mean, a steal.
Absolute steal, man. And that's the thing with he was drafted by the New Orleans Saints. So same kind of build as Darren Sproles, same skill set as Darren Sproles.
Mm-hmm. In his younger days. He's
fast, explosive like Darren Sproles. He's short. You can't see him behind those big offensive linemen. He makes people miss. He can play special teams. He is a carbon copy of Darren Sproles. And I think that's the reason why the New Orleans Saints drafted him. I mean, I really do. I think the Saints were like, well, this guy, I think he can develop into another Darren Sproles. But the problem with the Saints was they could never find a way to get him on the field. They had Mark Ingram until he went to the Ravens this past year, and they have Kamara also in the backfield. So they really weren't ever able to, find him that spot on the 53-man roster. And then the Eagles having injuries to the backfield. Howard goes out, and Sproles went out earlier this year, and they tried to bring Ajayi back, and that wasn't really working. So they finally, in the New York Giants game, they finally decided to give Boston Scott an opportunity to go out there and play. So with Boston Scott and Miles Sanders, these guys have just been this has just been a matchup nightmare for defenses because both of them extremely fast, shifty, explosive, can make huge plays. I mean, they're one cut away. You make one man miss, and it's like a 50-yard gain. I mean, that's really what could happen with both of these dudes, and both of them excel in the passing game as well. So I've actually been more of a fan for a long time, ever since I first saw Boston Scott play against the New York Giants, where he really got involved. Ever since then, I was saying, listen, when I look at this team as a whole, the offense, running game, passing game, whatever. When we were going with Jordan Howard and Miles Sanders, yeah, it was good, but I think we've been a better team when we've gone with Boston Scott and Miles Sanders. So with Jordan Howard, I'm not saying never use him, but if there's a 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, Doug wants to be aggressive and go for it on their side of the field. I don't mind putting Jordan Howard in, but
No.
the days of Jordan Howard being our number 1 running back, I think those days are well behind us now.
Yeah, no, I mean, because we were talking like months ago, we're like, oh my God, Jordan Howard needs an extension, blah, blah, blah. But as soon as these injuries were piling up and these guys were getting their chances, I mean, just think of it like this. I know we didn't have the best draft this year. I know we've hit high on Andre Dillard, Miles Sanders, and somewhat of JJ, but JJ needs a whole offseason for Wentz.
Yeah, he definitely does.
Needs a whole thing.
His problem is his problem isn't that he doesn't have the ability to play in the league. And that's what you get with a lot of the guys that we've drafted over the years. Like, for example, Matt Collins. He's just a prime example of just flat out not having the ability. But the problem is he doesn't know the playbook 100%. If he takes after the season, if he takes time and he figures out what he's supposed to do, he can come back and have a strong season next year. I really believe that.
But to continue what I was saying, even with the just how our draft went, I mean. Trading for Hassan Ridgeway, Clayton Thorson, that we thought, why? There's no point. We already had Josh McCown in the building, I think. So, you look at these receivers. I mean, you look at some of these receivers too. Like Robert Davis was supposed to be some big possession receiver that was, supposed to be with the Redskins. The Redskins never gave him a chance. Last preseason, he actually had 2 big catches in games. Never got the chance.
Made a phenomenal play against the New York Giants, but it got called back because of a big V hold. But this is just one of the guys that we have right now that's playing with that fire and desire. Just had to throw that in there real quick.
And to be honest with you, like even having like if we say like none of this happened, say like we pretty much went through the same crap right now, but we had Alshon Jeffrey Nelson on the field, and they were very on and off. You know what I mean? I wouldn't even feel that confident because of their attitudes going into these games. Like it's about the attitude of the player that really bothers me. After that Super Bowl, it seems like everyone was fine with what they got, fine with winning a ring. These guys on practice squad hasn't even seen a playoff game. Who knows have ever even been on a team that even went to a playoff game. I mean, who knows at this point? But these guys are like these are practice squad guys these are pretty much practice squad guys that are going to be in a playoff game starting.
Right.
It's crazy. It's crazy to think that. It's nuts.
Yeah, I mean that's the difference between these guys. You pretty much nailed it. The difference is with Nelson and Alshon, aside from the fact that they're already content, like a lot of players that we currently still have are from being on that team in 2017, winning a title. Other than that, they have their personal vendettas. Pete, wow. I hear a lot of people give shit to a wide receiver like Odell Beckham Jr. For being a quote-unquote diva. But if you ask me, both of these guys are divas for the shit that they've done this year. All their little anonymous quotes. Alshon Jeffrey talking to Josina Anderson, going behind players' backs. If you got a problem with Wentz, you got a problem with Wentz. It's okay to have a problem with Wentz. Tell Wentz you got a problem with him. That's the problem. That's why we had so much of a shit show, clown show, circus this entire season until these guys pretty much went out. And Nelson with his burner accounts. It's like it was exhausting. And then these guys go out, and then it's just like it's a brand new season. It's a brand new team. I mean, these dudes – forget never playing in a playoff game. These dudes are just excited to be playing in NFL games. This is what they've always dreamed of, and they finally get their chance. So no matter what, if they're not talented enough, they're not talented enough. But one thing you cannot discount is that they're going to go out, and they're going to go all out, and they're going to try to do everything they can to stay on an NFL roster. So I think that's a plus for Wentz, and I think that's a plus for the entire team that these guys are just going out and doing everything they can.
Yeah, even seeing like a lot of the the interviews say with Deontay Burnett and seeing Greg Ward, and they're just like the play is always going to be alive, always always keep running, always keep getting open. Carson Wentz could put the ball wherever he wants to, and they're just I could see the excitement in their voice and their eyes. I could just see just how they are. And you know what? Just imagine the story, like another fairy tale ending, like a season that went the way it did, and then all of a sudden, practice squad, young guys come up to make it.
That's what I'm saying, man. I mean, imagine all we got to do is win this game this week. I need to win this week more than anything. And if I get Deshaun Jackson back, I think the Eagles are going to completely take a 180 from what they were before. And we're going to become one of the scariest, hottest teams in the NFC. And teams like the 49ers, Green Bay, Minnesota, New Orleans, these teams are not going to want to see a team that's won 5 in a row and gets one of their best wide receivers back. Best deep threat receiver, arguably, of all time. He has the most 60-plus yard touchdowns in NFL history. So he's like one play away from we can just strike like that if we get Deshaun Jackson back. So this is what I'm saying. You got to go out, give everything you have in this game. Young guys, veterans, whatever. Go out, do your thing. Pull together a victory. I don't care if we win by 10, 20, 30 points. I don't care if we win by 1 point, 2 points, or 3 points. You just got to go out and find ways to win games like you've done, like we've seen them do this season. We saw them do it at Buffalo. We've seen them do it at Green Bay. We've won in some hostile territories. We've also been blown out. There's been like so many ups and downs, but this team has been able to pull itself together and give it there. All you can ask for is an opportunity, and this team has done enough to give them an opportunity. And Seattle, they're not as scary as I think they would be. Russell Wilson, the defense has to show up and stop Russell Wilson because he's 5-0 against us, and we never beat him. But I think the time has come to return the favor. Defense plays a lot better at home. This offense has been struggling. They're banged up. Tyler Lockett, their deep threat receiver, he's been battling a leg injury ever since halfway through the season. He came back too early from it, and he kind of tweaked it again. So I honestly don't think he's 100% right now. So when you look at the Seahawks offense, I really can't say who their number one weapon is going to be. I would probably lean on DK Metcalf. You got to find a way to slow him down. He scored a touchdown against us last game. But we got to find a way to just if we can be in this game late in the fourth quarter, I think we find a way to win.
Yeah, like the one problem I'm going to have during this game when Russell Wilson's on the field is the read option, the misdirection, because you even saw during the Redskins game as well. We were Haskins was really tearing us apart on those misdirection read option plays, and that's where we containment on the outside with defensive ends. That's where but it's a weird it's a 4-3 defense, so it's you're shooting a gap, and that's pretty much all you're doing. So I don't know if they Jim Schwartz is gambling on every play that he does on I mean, you're pretty much gambling on every play, but I'm saying, like, when it comes to mobile quarterbacks like Russell Wilson, you got to contain that outside, at least keep charge a gap, or keep your eye out on that run, you know what I mean? But misdirection, read option, what I'm looking for. I just know down in my mind I'm going to see Marshawn Lynch lined up right next to him, right in the backfield. And
he's good, man. I mean, I would let 33-year-old Marshawn if he's going to get his yards, let him get his yards. I would zone in on trying to slow down Russell Wilson as a runner more than I would Marshawn Lynch, because I honestly don't know how much of a big impact Marshawn can have in at this point in his career. So, and even if he is, I think the Eagles are up to the task. I mean, they've shut down Saquon Barkley, Ezekiel Elliott the last couple of weeks. Held Zeke under 50 yards one of his worst games of the year. So, and this defense, the defense deserves its credit for the way it's played at home. The defense in last 5 or 6 games, they were giving up 17 points or less at the link. So this defense comes to play. Jim Schwartz, people give him shit. I gave him shit this year, and I have in the last couple of years. I like Jim Schwartz. Overall, I like him as a defensive coordinator. I think he knows what he's doing. I think he's dealt with a lot of injuries on his starting defense, and he still finds ways to hold teams, good teams with offensive firepower, with weapons like, Dallas with Amari Cooper on paper. They should have really lit up our DBs, but they didn't because Jim Schwartz has a great game plan. And it was said just last week, there was a 4th and 1 where Daniel Jones fakes to Saquon, and he gets out and he runs around and he gets a first down, gain of 10, 15 yards on the play. After that play, it was said that Jim Schwartz went to the sideline and he ripped the entire defense's ass and said, "You guys need to start," and this is a real quote, "You guys better start doing your fucking job." He was pissed. And
I think they actually showed it. He went over to the bench and he said something, and it didn't look good at all. It didn't look good at all.
So Jim, he rips the entire defense, and they completely shut down the Giants the rest of the game. That's the type of energy that we need against Seattle. We cannot let this dude run on us. They did a great job defending Russell Wilson the last game. The offense did way too many turnovers, and ultimately that's why we lost. But if we take care of the football, I got confidence in Schwartz to do what we got to do. Injuries or not, Darby's not going to play. Mills probably is. Sidney Jones probably going to be in the mix at corner. Cravon LeBlanc made some huge plays. He's returning back to his playoff form, and last year he was one of the best corners in the entire playoffs last season. Made some huge plays down the stretch for us. He's going to be making plays. Rasul Douglas, I'm going to need him to step up. I can't have him letting DK Metcalf walk right past him. Pass rush, I need them to be there. I need Fletcher Cox to be that $27-a-year $1 million man. I need him to get in the backfield, get on Russell Wilson. Brandon Graham's been bringing the heat, bringing the energy. He's really had a good season, I must say. So this defensive line, it starts with them. So I'm going to need them to get some pressure there and make life easier for the secondary.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about Rasul Douglas. I mean, I know he didn't have a really good half in that Giants game, but he came back and really started to, deflect a lot of balls from these receivers. He did a good job. He was all over the place. And he gave up the one touchdown, and then, and then the Shepherd on the sideline, that long pass to Shepherd on the sideline. So, I mean, it's hit or miss with these guys, but the pass rush definitely has to be there. These guys have to be ready. I think this is perfect because I think like Derek Barnett came back a couple games ago and he really didn't play too well because he literally just got back from injury and then finally got a sack last week. And then, and now some of these guys are they're fully healthy. They're coming back. I know we lost one defensive end this week to injury, but nothing crazy. But as for right now, this team just has to contain Russell Wilson. And just like you said, the last game we played them, like we contained them pretty damn good. This offense just couldn't do anything the whole game. I mean, couldn't do anything the whole game. I mean, it was ugly. It was like lifeless, couldn't play football, didn't know what to do. It was just the scheme was just a mess. But like I said, just because of you could take the Cowboys game. You could take the Cowboys game, for instance. They think we're going to be the same team from week 6, week 7, whatever it was, but we're not. It's a totally different team now. It's a hungry team now. It's Pete Carroll knows what we're going to be doing, but are you going to be able to stop it? That's going to be the question. So I'm not
sure if Pete Carroll does know what we're going to be doing because when I think about it, it must be really hard to prepare to play the Eagles because you don't know who's hurt. You look at the injury report. Now, didn't practice. Limited. So is this player going to play? Is Miles Sanders going to play? People don't know who's going to play. So I think defensive coordinators, when they prepare for the Eagles offense, are just like, what the fuck. And it not just that. Forget injuries. Let's pretend like everyone's gonna play. How many guys on our offense do you have enough tape on that
Well,
you know
yeah.
what they're gonna do?
Yeah, exactly. You have no tape, period.
So I think
it's an advantage.
I'm not sure if Pete Carroll or anyone in the league knows what the Eagles are gonna do. I think only the Eagles know what they're gonna do. And I think the Eagles know how to attack the Seahawks defense. I think the Eagles know they can put points on the board. And I think the Eagles defense, Jim Schwartz knows this offense has been struggling. And there's some bad game film to go off of that you could kind of use as your blueprint if you're Jim Schwartz. So I think this game is ours to lose at home. And I think we find a way to get it done. We're going to be in the next round of the playoffs with Deshaun Jackson. So it's going to be really interesting, man.
You got like you said, like you got to prepare for 3 running backs. Like what if you have like you got to have the right, like you're not going to know. You're really not going to know if Boston Scott, Miles Sanders, or Jordan Howard even gets more snaps. I mean, you got to prepare for 3 running backs. And like you said, the receivers, like.
And another thing that the Eagles offense has been doing is they have plays designed where they have Miles Sanders lined up on like the left side of Carson Wentz, and they got Boston Scott lined up on the other side. So it's like they don't know who's going to get the ball. There's one play where Miles Sanders made I gotta give Miles Sanders some big praise for what he's done as a player. The guy, it's not just about what he does with the ball in his hands. When he doesn't have the ball in his hands, he can be a lead blocker. He can pick up the blitz. The guy's a good blocker. I mean, there's plays where they use Miles Sanders as the lead blocker for Boston Scott. I mean, you just don't know who's going to get the ball. So I think it's really hard to figure out this offense as opposed to earlier in the season when KJ Wright said we knew what plays they were going to run. In fact, I think it's completely opposite. So I'm very much ready for this game.
I'm good, bro. I'm good. I'm excited. Can't wait.
All right, so we're back to the part of the show. Happy New Year, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to pass out the Sit the Fuck Down award as voted by you guys for the entire year of 2019. And there were some really good candidates that I had on there. I had Dallas Cowboy fans were a nominee. Antonio Brown, all the crazy shit he's been doing. He was on there. Max Kellerman and his Carson Wentz agendas that he's been putting out there. All the ridiculous shit he's been saying on television. And the last 2 nominees are Cody Parkey missing that double doink field goal about this time last year. And then New Orleans Saints fans doing all that shit about yes, it was a bad missed call, but you really gonna start a petition for a rematch? I mean, come on. But as voted by you guys, Dallas Cowboys, come on down and get your Sit the Fuck Down award for 2019. Another 8-8 season. You still haven't fired Jason Garrett. I mean, why is this so hard to do? How many 8-8? First of all, how many 8-8 seasons has this dude have, and you still don't fire him? You have another season where you have all this talent on your team, and you still suck. You had Amari Cooper and Dak Prescott laughing it up on the sideline this year, asking, "Yo, was that easier than Philly?" and stuff like that. And now you guys are going to be watching us in the postseason again. So, Dallas Cowboys, kindly sit the fuck down. You are the winner of the entire year of the Sit the Fuck Down award. Congratulations. We'll see who wins it in 2020.
Yes, I agree with that. I mean, the cockiness that team had of beating teams, below 500 and acting like they were, pumping their chest and having everything in their hands. Well, it didn't go well for them. We got beat by Miami, but they lost to the Packers, which we beat. The Jets. The Jets was a huge one because
they made Mitch Trubisky look like a Hall of Fame quarterback. You can't forget that. Yeah, I mean, this is what happens if you're the Cowboys. If you have this much talent on your team, all you got to do is win the games you're supposed to win, and you'll be in the playoffs. They couldn't win the games they were supposed to win, so this is why they're at home. And Jerry Jones is fucking around. He doesn't want to fire Jason Garrett. So, I just don't know what to say about the Cowboys other than when you look at what the Eagles are doing, 3 straight years making the playoffs, and then it's a complete shit show over there regardless how many good players they have. The two organizations are going in opposite directions when any way you look at it. So that's all I have to say about the Cowboys. Congrats for winning the Sit the Fuck Down award for 2019. Congrats. I mean, Cowboys, at least you've won something in the last 20-something years. Golden Sit the Fuck Down trophy. It's more Lombardis that you've won in the last however long that time span is. What is it, 23, 24 years? Yeah. Congrats on winning something, though.
And here's the difference, too. The difference is that right now we're not – just like those T-shirts say, bro. Just like those say, the East is not enough. Just like because the Cowboys are good. The Cowboys fans are good with winning the division and then being fine with it. As long as they beat the Eagles to win the division, like all they want is the the participation trophy. That's all they want. Because as of right now, like I know this team and Doug wants to win championships. I feel this team could do so much more. I
don't even think with the Cowboy fans, I don't even think winning the division matters to them. I think beating us is like winning a Super Bowl for them. Because if they beat us, that's pretty much what they act like. They act like they won the Super Bowl. And they did it again this year. They beat us 37-10. And then they got nothing for it. So congrats. You've won more Sit the Fuck Down awards than you've won playoff games in the last 20-something years. So congrats. That's all I got to say about that.
I'm good, bro. I'm good.
Too. All right, guys. Well, playoff football. Let's find a way to get it done. Let's take these Seahawks out. We owe them one. Actually, we owe them more than one for as much as they've been owning us for years. So it's time to flip the script. It's time to get it done. Thanks for tuning in to the Read and React Show. This is your host with the most, Philly Jim. This is Joey Shakes. We will see you guys next time on the recap show. See you later. Go Birds. Fly Eagles.
Peace out. Fly, bro. See you guys.